Welcome to episode 8 of the EUSD Staff Wellness Podcast. Today, we're doing a deep dive into something, well, really vital for all of us, your well-being, and specifically what genuinely fuels our work and, our joy, especially in demanding roles like yours. We've got some fascinating insights lined up, from mindfulness stuff to some pretty surprising studies. The goal is really to help you not just manage stress, but actually thrive.
Yeah, it's so easy, isn't it, to just let self-care slide when things get busy?
Yeah.
But carving out even a few intentional minutes for yourself, it's not just a break. It's like hitting a reset button for your nervous system. It actively fights that decision fatigue, that emotional drain that comes with, tough jobs.
Exactly. Like a mini mental retreat you can sneak in anywhere. Take that Goodful meditation, for example. It really guides you to slow down your breathing, really tune into your body, release tension, and even just picture something small that made you smile or feel grateful. It's about being intentional, right? And just kind to yourself for a moment.
Absolutely. And, for educators specifically, there's a really great resource, Headspace. They offer free access to K-12 teachers and support staff.
Yeah.
US, UK, Canada, Australia, quite a few places. And the benefits they talk about: better focus, less stress, just generally happier thoughts for staff and students.
Oh, that's fantastic. And I love how they make it so accessible. I heard they even talk about things like Unicorn Island and making friends with every feeling. It's kind of imaginative, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah.
Using metaphors like that makes dealing with emotions feel less heavy.
Yeah, less intimidating, especially when you're managing a whole classroom full of feeling.
Exactly. So these tools, they're not just quick fixes. They build resilience.
Which lets us find and keep that sense of meaning in our work. Which brings us to the next big question. What really motivates us at work? Beyond just the paycheck.
Right. We often have this kind of naive idea that people are just like rats in a maze, just chasing the cheese, motivated only by money or external rewards. But human motivation, it's way more complex than that.
Oh, definitely. Think about something like mountain climbing. It's objectively miserable sometimes, right? Frostbite, exhaustion, danger. Yet people push through all that difficulty just to reach a summit. For the struggle itself, the challenge, it's clearly not about instant gratification.
Exactly. Or take this story about an architecture student. He spent 2 solid weeks pouring everything into this super detailed model for a big project. Loved the actual work.
Okay.
Then, the day before he's supposed to present it, the whole project gets canceled. Poof.
Oh, no.
And even though he enjoyed making it, knowing it would never be seen, never have an impact, it just crushed him. He got deeply depressed. It just shows how much meaning matters.
Wow. Okay, and this connects to those Lego experiments you mentioned, right? This sounds fascinating.
Yes. So, get this. They had people build Lego Bionicles. Yeah. In one condition, the meaningful one, they finished a figure, put it aside, got paid, started another. People in that group built, on average, about 11 figures.
Okay, seems reasonable.
But then there was the Sisyphic condition, named after Sisyphus, the Greek myth, pushing the rock uphill forever.
Right, the rock just rolls back down.
Exactly. So in this condition, as soon as they finished building a Bionicle, the experimenter took it apart right in front of their eyes.
Oh, that's brutal.
It is. And guess what? People in that group only built 7 figures on average.
Wow. So almost a third less work just because they saw it undone.
Precisely. Seeing their effort immediately negated just destroyed their joy and motivation. Even for something simple like building Legos, it shows we know meaning is important, but we really underestimate how much it drives us.
That's incredible. And wasn't there another similar experiment with paper and shredders?
Yes, the shredder experiment, similar idea, different task. People had to find pairs of identical letters on a sheet of paper. 3 conditions. 1, they finish, write their name, hand it to the experimenter, who looks it over, says, and puts it in a pile.
Okay, acknowledgement.
2, they finish, hand it over, but the experimenter doesn't look at it, just puts it on the pile. Ignored. Okay. 3, they finish, hand it over, and the experimenter immediately feeds it into a shredder. Right there.
Ouch. Okay, so what happened?
The results were striking. People whose work was shredded stopped working much, much sooner. They basically did half as much work as the group whose work was acknowledged.
Makes sense. But what about the ignored group?
That was the shocker. Being ignored.
Yeah.
Having their work just put on a pile without even a glance. It was almost as demotivating as having it shredded.
No way. So just being ignored is nearly as bad as actively destroying someone's work.
Pretty much.
Wow. So the good news here is even a simple just a glance can make a huge difference to motivation.
Huge difference. It's like a little superpower we all have, acknowledging effort.
Makes you think, doesn't it? about glancing at student work or acknowledging a colleague's contribution. But the flip side is, it's apparently really easy to kill motivation. Just ignore it.
Depressingly easy.
And then there's that other effect, the IKEA effect. Is that related?
Huh. Yes, the IKEA effect.
Yeah.
It's this tendency we have to overvalue things we've put effort into ourselves. Ever spent hours wrestling with flat pack furniture and then felt weirdly proud of that slightly wonky bookshelf?
Maybe. Definitely. Or remember those old cake mixes from like the 50s?
Vaguely. What about them?
They didn't sew well at first, apparently, because it was too easy. Just add water. They only took off when they changed the recipe, so housewives had to add their own egg and milk. That little bit of effort made it their cake.
That's fascinating. It's the same principle. Effort leads to valuation. They did an experiment with origami. People built these, frankly, pretty ugly origami cranes and frogs.
Okay.
The builders valued their own creations about 5 times higher than impartial observers did.
5 times, just because they made it themselves?
Yep. That's like our own kids, right? Mm-hmm. They're objectively maybe not the most amazing kids in the world to everyone else.
Yeah.
But to us, because of the effort, the time, the connection, they're priceless. It's that investment of self.
Okay, so tying this all together, what does this mean for us now? Especially in education, which is so much about knowledge work, not just making widgets.
Right. Well, if you think back, Adam Smith, the economist, he focused on efficiency through division of labor. You know, the assembly line idea. Everyone does one tiny repetitive task.
Makes sense for efficiency, maybe?
Maybe. But then you have someone like Karl Marx who pointed out the flip side, the alienation of labor. When you only do one small part, you lose connection to the final product, to the purpose, to the meaning of the work.
Okay. So Marx's idea is actually really relevant now in the knowledge economy.
Hugely relevant, I think. Our work, especially in education, isn't just about churning out stuff. It's about complex decision-making. It's about care, attention, connection. All these things we've been talking about, meaning, creation, challenge, ownership, identity, pride, they aren't just nice to have. They are absolutely fundamental for productivity, for engagement, and, well, for our overall happiness and well-being at work.
So really recognizing those elements and actively trying to cultivate them in our own work and how we interact with students and colleagues, that's key. It's not just about managing the day-to-day, but about building that sustained sense of purpose and impact.
Exactly. Remember, empire to engage, educate, and empower. And you have to take care of yourself in order to be able to do that.